Hello, I'm Marcia Walker-McWilliams, Executive Director of the Black Metropolis Research Consortium. I've been with the consortium since 2019, but I've known about it almost since its founding, as I was a graduate student here at the University of Chicago when the BMRC was formed in 2006. I'm a trained historian, so being able to locate primary sources and historical collections that document Black experiences has been extremely important to my career. So I'm really excited to be now working with and leading the BMRC. Yes. So 2021 is our 15th anniversary. So I would love for us to have another 15 years, another 30 years of doing this work. We've been able to grow in terms of our staff. We have new members who have joined the BMRC, and we're just breaking new ground in terms of the ways that we engage our member institutions, our fellows, our interns, and just generally people who are interested in documenting and preserving Black history in the collections that we have in Chicago. So, continued growth and sustainability for sure is what I would hope to see for the BMRC. The BMRC is kind of like a connector. We help connect researchers, and we just don't mean academic researchers. There could be students who are working on history fair projects, undergraduate, graduate, faculty, even community members who are interested in studying the history of their community or their family or their religious congregation. We really see researchers from all walks of life. And so our goal is to be able to connect them to the collections that they are interested in at our member institutions, and to be able to connect our member institutions and the archivists and the librarians who steward those collections with the researchers who are interested in using those materials. So we really thrive on that connector role in being able to sort of facilitate that relationship building. We also have some more kind of formal or technical ways that we can provide help and access to researchers. Through our website, we have a searchable database that includes collections from our member institutions that focus on Black history and culture. Certainly in Chicago, but there's also an African diasporic lens to a number of those collections. So through our website, people are able to find out more information about the breadth of collections that are available. We also have our summer short term fellowship program, which connects scholars, researchers, artists, writers, filmmakers, photographers, and so on with the collections that we have. And that is an international competition that we run, and so people are able to apply, propose a project that they're interested in that they really couldn't complete without coming to Chicago and doing some in depth research in the collections that are held at our member institutions. Primary sources are pretty much the foundation of research, especially in the humanities and social sciences. It's difficult to create original scholarship, to produce new narratives without direct access to primary sources. They really do shed light on what people were doing in a particular moment, how they were living, how they were relating to one another, and the ways in which they kind of situated themselves within their environment. So, primary sources I see as the kind of building blocks of scholarship. And there's nothing like stepping into an archive, at least from my perspective. And of course, I'm biased as a historian, but there's nothing like stepping into an archival repository, going into that reading room, and getting a fresh box of materials. Being able to touch and read and engage with documents from prior historical periods really does sort of put you in that mode of being your own investigator. And then the other side of that is being able to craft a narrative, based off of those sources. So for me, it's like an adrenaline rush that others might get from doing, probably more exciting things than sitting in a reading room. But I really do think that primary sources and the research that you can engage in, there's nothing like it. Absolutely. So, for young scholars who are interested in the archival profession, the first thing that I would say is try to gain practical experience. One of the things that really opened my eyes to collections and to the work that archivists and librarians and memory workers do is being able to actually study under them and to work on processing collections and understanding the context and the history of that field. So, definitely gaining practical experience through internships, through mentorships with archivists and librarians is really important. And there's a wealth of research out there and materials that can also help you learn about the archival profession. One of the things that's come about as a result of the pandemic is the explosive growth of webinars and panels and other ways to really gain insight into what it's like to work as an archivist that you might not have had access to before. So I would say definitely practical experience as well as sort of learning about the field itself. Absolutely. And likely someone's probably already doing this, right? We have ways of storing our family photos. I know in my family, we've had a family Bible that kind of lists our genealogy. And there could be other aspects of someone's personal legacy, their family legacy, their community history that they're already keeping. So, yes, that's certainly possible. One of the resources that we just created that lives on the BMRC's website is a legacy management resource portal. And it essentially provides tips and tools and strategies for people to learn how to take care of their own materials at home. Some people just want to steward and care for their own collection, and we wanted to provide resources to be able to do that work. We also have, as part of that portal, advice about how to approach archival repositories or institutions if someone's feeling like caring for that collection is just too much for them, which we certainly understand. This is a tough question because literally every time I learn about a new collection or hear about a new collection, I'm like, oh, it's so amazing. So I guess my response to that would be is that there are tons of collections that are at our member institutions that we would love to have people engage with, learn more about, and write about. I guess one of the ways I could think about this would be in terms of themes. There are a lot of interrelated collections. So, for example, if someone is interested in learning about, say, African American women's activism, they could do that literally with collections that are spread out across our member institutions. They could find something at the Chicago Public Library in special collections or the Vivian G. Hart Research Collection. They could find materials at Chicago State University's archives. They could find materials at the Women in Leadership archives at Loyola University. So there's so many different collections and thematic relationships between the collections that we have. One of the things that I'm really interested in the BMRC doing is eventually sort of providing some thematic subject areas where we could really start to call people's attention to, hey, we've got great um, collections in the area of Black art history in Chicago, or we have great collections as it pertains to West Side neighborhoods and Black activism. So we're really looking to draw even more attention to these thematic subject areas. We would love for people to support us, talk about us. If you know people who are interested in documenting, preserving, sharing, understanding Black history in Chicago, let them know that we exist because we would love to help them on their journey. If it's as a researcher, if it's as someone who's interested in donating their collection and they're not quite sure how to go about doing that, and they also want neutral advice. We're not here to, say, hey, put your collection with this specific repository. We want you to be educated in that process and to think about where you would want your legacy to be cared for. Also, if you see collections that are going by the wayside, rescue them and contact us. Far too often, we'll learn about a community member who has passed on and their materials are in a storage locker that's going up for sale, or their things have been left by the wayside. And we want to preserve their legacy. We want to make sure that future generations are able to know about the mark that they made and the contributions that they've made to the city of Chicago and to struggles far beyond the city. So definitely rescue those collections. Reach out to us if there are ways that you'd like to partner with us. And we also, of course, have other ways that you can support the work that we do, and we have more information about that on our website. Yeah, I mean, just the process of curating this exhibit has been wonderful. And thank you so much to Chelsea Kaufman and the other members of Special Collections Research Center. It's just been amazing to really look back at the BMRC's history and to see how far we've come, how many different initiatives we've had that really show our dedication to documenting and preserving Black historical collections. Been a lot of work, but it's been great. And so I'm hoping that, through engaging the digital exhibit, um, people will be able to just learn more about our work and to support us and to support our member institutions, to go out and read these fabulous books by our BMRC fellows. We really do want these collections, these works, to be bigger than the BMRC. We're definitely about creating new historical narratives and celebrating Chicago's rich history and the ways in which people of African descent have contributed to the city.